It's kind of peaceful down here, isn't it? Those are Canadian geese. They winter here at the lake near where I live. It's pretty. No sounds of traffic here, just all kinds of birds and squirrels and lots of goose poop. Man, you gotta watch where you walk around here. But we're not here to talk about geese. No, we're not. We're here to talk about e-bikes. Have you ever thought to yourself, I wonder if an e-bike is for me? Well, if you have, you're not alone. E-bikes are becoming more and more commonplace. They're getting better and better. And there's more and more reasons to have them. The Granny Gear household, well, we just went about knee deep in the e-bike pool. Not for myself, but for the missus. And I want to share that experience with you guys. I want to take you along. And in the next series of videos, we'll be examining why we did it, what were the reasons, what I was looking for when I was shopping for an e-bike, what I thought was important and not so important. And in the end, we'll be looking at how it's worked out. So all that coming up over the next series of videos. In this one, we'll be focusing on a friend of mine who just recently made the jump to e-bike. How that was for him as a fit and older rider who was competitive as an athlete, as an amateur level for many, many years, and struggled with the thought of getting an e-bike and how it's been once he made that decision. That's all coming up in this video. We'll be right back. In the meantime, I'm going to watch the geese. Now, the way I see it working out for the US market for e-bikes, I see it kind of dividing itself into three sections, three groups, if you will. There's the group that sees an e-bike as a tool, in a sense. It might be a commuting device, or maybe it replaces their car. Maybe it's a cargo bike for a small business. That's very common in Europe. I don't know if it's so common here. We don't have the infrastructure for that. And you know, despite the best efforts of the bike industry, America is just not a cycling culture. No, we like our cars and we like our comfort. So I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that'll be a big group, but it's a growing group. And if that fits for you, more power to you. The second group, and the one I think is probably going to be the largest in the US, is e-mountain bikes. But in my local trails, you know what I see? I see groups of, say, 30-year-olds, 5 or 6 of them, all of them fit, all riding e-bikes. Well, you know they're not doing it out of necessity. Seems like the e-mountain bike for a lot of people has become the second e-bike. It's the N+1 toy. Now they're expensive toys, but you know, today the group says, hey, are we doing an e-bike ride today or are we doing a regular mountain bike ride today? Now the third group that I think represents e-bike buyers is going to be who we are in our family. There's a reason we bought the e-bike. And that is to replace your existing, say, road bike or fitness bike or gravel bike when for whatever reason, pedaling them as you normally would just became too difficult. Now that can be a lot of different reasons, right? It could be injury. Maybe you had a knee replacement, or you had a back surgery, or there's arthritis to deal with, or you had an illness and you're recovering from that and your strength may never be what it was, but you still want to ride your bike because riding your bike is good for you. It helps you heal. Maybe it's because, well, you've just gotten older. So if we can fix that by simply getting a bike with a motor and a battery in it, well, why wouldn't we do that? Why wouldn't we let ourselves enjoy riding into our older years to overcome the injury or the ailment that slowed us down? Why wouldn't we do that? We're going to let my friend tell you about his journey and his struggle with internally thinking about, should I do an e-bike or not? I'm going to let him tell you his story, and that's coming right up. Say hi to Glenn. Well, I'm here with my buddy Glenn. And Glenn, he just made that jump to an e-bike. And I wanted to sit down with him and just have him tell you about how that happened, how he got to that decision, and really how it's been. What's happening, buddy?
Hey, it's all good.
Good.
Great day out in Santa Clarita.
I appreciate your time.
I appreciate riding. It's nice. We just rode over Iron Horse.
We did.
Nice,
We did.
epic place to start our ride.
It did. It's a beautiful evening. There's people riding by behind us. This is a area bike path that the city's put in. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
Santa Clarita is a great place to be a bicycle rider.
It is. So now, you've been riding bikes for how long?
20, 30 years easy. I've been always doing athletic things. I did triathletes for many, many years. So, that was kind of the start of my bicycle riding.
Okay,
And,
wow.
But then got out of triathlete competition.
Yeah.
And did a lot of road race,
Really?
bicycle racing.
Nice.
Just pretty much with the police department.
Yeah.
And just love bikes, love being around bikes. All my friends ride bikes.
Yeah,
It's just a great world.
It's a great lifestyle. And so it sounds like you were in the competitive edge of things too, not just a...
Yeah, I competed a couple, I don't know, I might have 100 different races under my hat.
Wow, that's
And
awesome.
one of these days we can do the I Love Me room at my house. And I got a few,
Oh my gosh.
few medals in there.
The war room.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now let me ask you, how old are you now?
I am going to be 69 this year.
Okay. So now, at some point in all this progression, you decided that you wanted to have a motor on your bike and a battery. How did that come about?
Well, over the last year or so, I've noticed when I'm riding with my friends, and I ride a lot in Santa Clarita, and I ride a lot with the Santa Clarita Valley Tuesday, Thursday riders.
Right.
And I'm actually a ride leader with that group.
That's right.
And then we do these 30, 40-mile rides on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I'm the ride leader, and I was finding I couldn't do it. I couldn't stay up in the front. And I was falling behind, and it just took a little of the joy out of bicycling away from me.
Right. Yeah, I mean, even when you're fit, there is just age. And there's no denying that we just get to where we just don't have that horsepower anymore. We can still ride, but riding really fast again just gets really hard.
Yeah, I always enjoyed riding and I always loved it, but I just noticed all of a sudden I'm not in the front, I'm in the back, and then I never thought it'd be the day, I'm the last one in on a ride, and I gotta admit it did trouble my ego a little bit. I went, it did.
And I think that's a guy thing because, not to make stereotypes, we tend to be, especially if we're a competitive guy, you want to be at the pointy end of the stick. It's what you're used to, striving for. You may not always win, but you're gonna contend, right? And all of a sudden go, well, I need a help now on my bike. I'm not man enough, or whatever that means.
Yeah. It was demoralizing. Yeah, it was.
Well, but somehow reality overcame that. So how did you finally decide, I'm gonna write the check?
Well, I'm pretty lucky. I have a real good friend, Harach Gravikian, and he owns a bicycle shop, Velo Pasadena.
Right.
And I explained to him this whole problem, and I was thinking, do I need more different gears?
Yeah.
Is there a tune-up? And he was very, very nice, and his shop actually has many different models. And I went through several different models of bikes, and I looked at them, and I found some were a little too heavy. I like to be able to throw my bike in the back of my truck, and I'll go to Ventura. I'll go to
you go to the beach.
Paso Robles. I'll go to the beach and do rides.
Yeah.
But I found these bikes I was looking at, these e-bikes, were too heavy.
Yeah.
And so that didn't work.
Yeah.
And then I was looking at some other bikes, and they wouldn't do 30 miles.
Yeah.
I mean, so it was like too heavy, not enough power.
Yeah.
So I said, I don't think this is going to work.
Yeah. And so you ended up on the BMC, AMP X2. Did I get that right? There's all kinds of numbers.
It's the BMC.
Is it Road Machine amp?
Road Machine 1. amp X.
Wow.
I know.
I know.
Yeah, I studied that for some time trying to do that
I
out.
see that. So I mean, I'm familiar with the bike. It's one by gearing, so you only have one chainring.
And this is my first experience with SRAM,
Right.
and it's effortless, perfect every time. And I always thought, the one bys, that ain't gonna work. It's spot on,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. I have a theory. I haven't experienced it myself, but you know, one of the difficulties with people looking at one by for road is you get the gaps, right? Where some gear might be a little too spinny, the next one's a little bit too, you're struggling a bit. And so the thing is with the motor just pitches in a little on that gear that might be too hard to pedal, and you don't notice the gap.
No, I noticed no gaps. And again, the motor will handle that.
Yeah.
And another thing I always tell people, when you look at getting an e-bike, ride an e-bike with no power on, because it can come to that. And this rides like a dream without the motor on. And I do on my rides, I'll do a third to a half of my ride with no power on, and it rides beautifully. And then the hills come, and the racehorses start pulling away.
Yeah.
I'll reach down and I'll go, okay, I'm going to pop it into first gear.
TQ is who makes this motor. It's a German company. I actually spoke to one of their people in Germany. We had a conference, and it was fascinating getting information on how they designed this and what they chose it to do. And we are the target audience for that motor.
Really and another nice thing, ego involved, it's a silent motor.
It is.
I mean, you put it on, nobody knows except you.
So now, how long have you been riding the e-bike now? What has it been?
It's been since January. It's a 2023, and this was, the first of this model came out in January, and so I've got like 5 months under my belt. I've actually worn out one set of tires, so I got over like 3,000 miles on it, and absolutely love it.
Has it been? Did it get you what you wanted?
It has been everything I wanted it to be and more.
And more. Right.
I say getting an e-bike is you, but better.
Yeah.
You're still doing the handling, you're still doing the effort, you're still putting in the time, but it just fills those gaps so you don't feel like you're falling behind. It keeps you in the game, and it keeps bicycling a fun sport that you love.
Well, and that should be our goal as mature older cyclists. Man, we want to keep doing this as long as we can, right? I mean, this is what we love to do. It keeps us healthier. And if that's what it takes, man, I mean, sign us up.
Yeah.
That's what we should be doing.
Stay in the game, keep on riding.
Stay in the game, keep on moving. Brother, thanks for your time, man.
And I love the hat. So do all my friends in Colorado.
Oh, yeah, Wheat Ridge Cyclery, right?
Well done.
His wife gave me the hat. Thanks, Kimmy. All right, man. We'll talk to you soon. All right. So let me wrap up by telling you a story that helped me change my mind a lot about e-bikes and how acceptable they are in our cycling culture. Doing a coastal ride with the wife down along the Pacific coastline of Ventura, California. Stopped for a little break, and there's 3 older guys there on their bikes. And I mean older. I mean, I'm old. They're older than old. Got to talking to them. 2 of them were in their 70s and one was 80 plus. And I noticed every single one of them was on an e-bike. And so it interested me, and I struck up a conversation. I said, what's with the e-bikes? They said, well, you know what? We've been riding for years and years. But as we got into our 70s and beyond, it just got so hard. The mountains weren't something we really could do anymore. We couldn't go as far as we liked, so our favorite lunch stops and coffee shops, rides and things like that, they just weren't happening. And we just got to where we weren't riding as much because we simply weren't enjoying it. But e-bikes changed everything. We're back to our old rides, we're back to our coffee shop rides, and we're loving it. And I thought to myself, who am I to say that they shouldn't do that? Shame on me. But you know what? When you get older, you got to do things for you that make sense and not listen to what people think of you. For instance, look at my shoes. Are these cool shoes or what? Hey dude, Mexican blanket shoes. Let me tell you something. Just because I'm old, that doesn't mean I'm going to go out boring and easy. You know what I'm saying? Thanks for coming along. Thanks for listening to this e-bike journey. Hope it relates to you guys in some way. There's a couple more coming out. Hopefully it'll help you make a good decision for yourself, because the important part is to keep out there, to keep riding our bikes, to keep moving, and to stay healthy. And if that's what it takes, embrace it. You guys take care. Granny Gear out for Old Guy in a Bike.